U.S. Justice Department releases millions of Epstein files amid political fallout. The U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, on January 30th, 2026, released a massive tranche of previously undisclosed documents related to the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, sparking widespread political debate, criticism from survivors, and renewed scrutiny of powerful figures mentioned in the records. The disclosure includes over 3 million pages of documents, roughly 2,000 videos, and more than 180,000 images tied to federal investigations of Epstein and his longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said the Justice Department is releasing the material under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, a bipartisan law enacted in late 2025 that requires the government to make all unclassified records in its possession public. Scope of the release and legal context. The newly released materials represent the largest single public disclosure of records connected to Epstein's criminal cases since his death in 2019, when he died by suicide while awaiting federal sex trafficking trial. The Transparency Act, passed by an overwhelming bipartisan vote in Congress and signed by President Donald Trump in November 2025, mandated the release of all unclassified documents relating to Epstein investigations within a set timeframe. Blanche told reporters that the department has published about 3.5 million pages in total so far after extensive review and redaction to protect victims and ongoing investigations, even though officials initially identified more than 6 million potentially responsive pages. Some material remains withheld due to legal privileges, privacy concerns, or attorney-client privilege. What the documents reveal. The files span federal investigations and prosecutions of Epstein and Maxwell and include correspondence, flight logs, court filings, and other records. Among the content made public are emails and communications involving Epstein and numerous high-profile figures, including mentions of former President Donald Trump hundreds of times, though DOJ officials stressed that these references are not evidence of criminal conduct. Records indicating communication between Epstein and former UK Royal Prince Andrew, now Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, suggesting more contact after his 2008 conviction than previously acknowledged. Texts and exchanges between Epstein and political operative Steve Bannon, and inquiries from tech billionaire Elon Musk about visiting Epstein's private island, all of which have drawn public interest. Officials involved in the case have said many of the unverified submissions were included to meet the requirements of the transparency law, and their inclusion does not imply guilt or wrongdoing by anyone mentioned. Survivor and lawmaker reactions. The release has drawn sharp criticism from Epstein survivors and advocate groups, who argue the disclosures expose victims' identities while still shielding powerful alleged abusers from public scrutiny. 20 survivors issued a statement condemning the decision, saying that putting victims' names in the public record while keeping alleged perpetrators protected amounted to a continuation of protecting the powerful. Some lawmakers from both parties have expressed frustration that the Justice Department did not fully comply with the original December 19, 2025 deadline mandated by the Transparency Act, and that many files remain withheld or heavily redacted. Representatives such as Ro Khanna, who sponsored the legislation, have called for access to additional documents believed to contain details like FBI victim statements or older indictments. Political implications and public debate. Beyond legal and survivor concerns, the Epstein file release has significant political reverberations. Because President Trump signed the transparency law and his administration oversaw the document review, critics argue that political considerations may have shaped the pace and scope of disclosures, while allies insist the government complied with the law and redactions were necessary to protect victims. The controversy has also emerged as a point of contention in broader political discourse, with opponents alleging that powerful figures could be shielded from scrutiny and supporters dismissing speculation about withheld, explosive evidence as unfounded without verification. Looking ahead, the Justice Department has pledged further transparency, including a report to Congress detailing released and withheld material. But the discussion over the Epstein files is likely to continue as lawmakers and the public review the documents and assess what they reveal about Epstein's network and how the government handled the case. Backhanded X-Pointing right, if you found this report informative, please like the video, share it with others, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Loudspeaker subscribe to Prime News Network and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest breaking news and updates as soon as they drop on the channel.